All right, so going back to what you mentioned before about Virgil and Kanye. So, like you said before, Virgil and Kanye have been kind of pinned against the wall against each other, based on kind of the higher ups in the fashion industry, and due to the fact that they're both very successful African Americans in the world of fashion, amongst other things. With that being said, how much does racism still play a role in the fashion industry in your eyes?
I feel like it plays a very large, not as large, but large role into the fashion world, only because as far as the business side is what I mean. It doesn't stop the creativity side. No one can ever take away your creativity. But as far as when it comes down to business and profits and making margins and making your numbers for the month and for the year, it all comes down to like shareholders, board of trustees, board of directors, you name it, whatever you want to call them. All these high, powerful, rich white men, like they all, kind of get a say on things and kind of also are the ones who tell you what your budget is or how much money that they're going to give you guys to produce all these things that you want to do. So the reason why I say it plays a role is because the majority of people that are on these boards are like old or like rich and powerful white men that kind of are like they still live in the Stone Age, just have the mentality that minorities, African Americans, Latinos, whatever, like you name it, that we're nothing to them. Like we work for them, and that's how they always see it. And they also, when they're making a decision, they're not making it based off, no, like they're doing it based off their own personal opinions and personal agendas of however sick-minded that they are.
Right.
Absolutely.
There have been other types of big types of controversies with like Gucci. Well, for Gucci, for example, this past fall, I believe, or it was last year. I'm not. It was pretty recent with the whole they had a fashion line come out, and it was I'm pretty sure the design it was like a shirt, and it had like according to a lot of people, it depicted like an African American with big red lips, like that very stereotypical
I remember
racist
that.
type of cartoon.
Yeah, they had that.
Yeah. So
And they had like a necktie.
The news thing or something like that? I think I don't know
Yeah,
if
right,
I don't know if it
exactly.
was Gucci. Was it Gucci that had it with that one, or was it somebody else?
It was Gucci, and it was and they were saying that it was the same like tie that they used when they lynched African Americans
Yeah,
back in the day.
yeah. How do you feel about like stuff? I mean, this that obviously kind of like infuriates a lot of people, but like, is there a point where you kind of say like, wow, you know what, I'm not even surprised, or I'm kind of used to this type of behavior or this type of outlook or ignorance from these big time companies?
Yeah, unfortunately, like I like to give the my who I am as a person. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, and I'm all for change and growth. Don't get me wrong, but like sometimes, like in certain cases like that, I'm just like I just wasn't shocked when it happened. Like when it came out and I seen the images, I honestly was not shocked and I wasn't surprised. Reason being, because like I said, like a lot of these people are it's it's old rich white men.
Yeah,
That can't relate.
true.
Right, exactly. Or they're just ignorant, or
Right.
they're not thinking about. They don't know the history. They don't know what that means, obviously, because it didn't affect them in any way.
Right.
You know. So I just nowadays it's sad to say, just I'm not surprised anymore.
I remember I had a business professor who said something relating into that. He didn't try to like almost like cut down our dreams but and aspirations, but he was telling us you gotta almost like navigate and also be conscious of the road that you're taking in what you want to be in life, whatever that may be, because he was like, in being honest, the doors that you have to break down, a white person only has to break down maybe two of those doors. Us being minorities or looked upon as minorities, we have to bust down like 10 doors just to get a greeting at the door. So I think it's very important that you said that, because it still goes on. It still resonates even today in 2020.
Yeah.
Do these companies like because obviously like it's happened a lot, especially with Gucci. Do they not learn, or are they just do they just not care? Like, what do you think is the whole like the whole process behind that? Because I get pretty confused. They don't learn once or something like that. Like, and it never happens again.
I felt as though like Gucci and all these other corporations are such large companies that when something happens, yes, it's coming from one person. However, when like an apology or something that is set out, it's not coming from that same person. No, it's coming from like the HR department or
Right, of course.
the public publicity department, whatever that's called,
Yeah.
image consultant. It's coming from those people. It's not coming
PR,
from,
right.
PR. It's not coming from the actual person who put it out, who made that design.
Who's responsible for
So
making that? Yeah, exactly.
exactly. So I feel like that's why it keeps happening because they don't learn and that person is not penalized. It's just kind of swept under the rug and they sent out a letter and it's not even coming from that person.
Exactly.
It's coming from someone else. So you really just don't care.
Or even if
when
it's
you
like,
look at it,
go.
no, I was
ahead.
gonna say when you look at it, when you look at it in general, it's a whole facade because it's like you said before. If you really look at it, it's PR work. So what you're seeing is a person actually making a real mistake, but you're seeing the real them. And then they have a PR person to back them up and almost backtrack what they would say. So you're kind of seeing the real them, but you're not really seeing the real them.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It makes sense.
What do you think about Dapper Dan, for example? Because I know when Gucci came out with the whole with the shirt, with the shirt with the lips type of issue, I know that Dapper Dan kind of got involved. He spoke to the owner of Gucci, and they kind of came into a little kind of like an agreement or something like that. And the owner of Gucci gave out like a certain amount of money to I think to Harlem or to some fashion schools, or I don't know, like some type of services for fashion, like for youth, for like on underprivileged youth, like in Uptown. So what do you think about that whole situation, that whole solution for them?
I honestly feel like that was just another thing of PR work. Like, yeah, okay, you made a mistake, and everyone's resolution towards it is like, okay, I'm just gonna throw some money at something, just slap my name on something, something that needs help or like a cause, whatever. Orphans or whatever the case may be, or like minorities from a poverty neighborhood, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
I just feel like that was just a PR move. And don't get me wrong, it was great that they did that and they donated some money to that. I know the school was very grateful for that, and that was such a good opportunity for them.
Yeah.
But I just kind of felt like it didn't personally come from genuine circumstances. It came from I just need to make myself look good again.
Yeah, it kind of sucks that like it takes this type of fuck up for them to even think about donating to a school, or even like doing like work in uptown New York City, or like in underprivileged neighborhoods. Like, like why not just do it, like when you're doing great, or when you're not being like looked at within the limelight as, like being discriminatory, still being racist, or still, having like these offensive images. This kind of doesn't make any sense per se. That's a bad marketing move, and like an ethical move too, to be honest.
Yeah, and also it's dirty money in a sense, because they're not getting this money. The kids aren't getting this money because of good faith or whatever the case may be. It's dirty money. They're getting the money because person like that.
Yeah.
And they just throw money at a situation.
Yeah. How do you feel about Dapper Dan in general?
I don't know that much about Dapper Dan. So I can't really speak on him like that.
Yeah.
So I only know about him because of that situation, but I don't know about like him itself. Like,
oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he has
got a G on my chest. I don't need Dapper Dan.
Yeah. He
no.
Yeah, no, he has his own type of store in Harlem, and because obviously him and Gucci have like a partnership. Like he all of his designs are like Gucci fabric and all that. And to me, it was pretty cool seeing like a Gucci store per se, or even like a Gucci outlet for whatever, however you want to call it, like in Harlem, which is, like 10, 20 years ago, that would have never happened. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like it has both good and bad attributes. One of the bad attributes is that, all right, that's just one piece of gentrification, and that's just kind of like how, these neighborhoods that are once, like the bad neighborhoods that nobody wants to go to, like they just, get super pricey. They start kicking like the actual residents out due to the socioeconomics. But then the good thing is also, like they gain like a better crowd. There's a better I guess like outlet for the media to like portray these types of neighborhoods. There's more opportunity in a sense. So, but it's never like either one thing or the other thing. How do you feel about stuff like that? Like these big time stores going into like mostly ethnic neighborhoods.
So I'm 50-50 only because of like what it says. Like it brings it definitely brings it cleans up the neighborhood. It makes it look better, more presentable. Crime rates probably like lower down. There's better schools, there's better opportunities. Kids that probably didn't have growing up, and I'm all for that. The only downfall about it is the fact that it's also pushing us out.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's all these brand new shiny stuff that's really supposed to help us and benefit and supposed to be like beneficial toward us, but we're not actually being able to experience it because we're being pushed out by all of these high prices on rent and property and things of that nature, and businesses closing down. So the only downfall about it, and I wish that wasn't happening, if it could just be to the point where they're building all these nice infrastructures and programs and things of that nature, and we're able to stay in the community, hey, I have no problem with it.
Right.
I'm all for it, but that's not what's happening.
You mentioned that you're from the Bronx. Do you feel like the Bronx is little by little kind of like getting, not maybe gentrified, but like is there a lot of, do you see like those type of like retail store like changes going on like within the neighborhood?
Definitely in my neighborhood, I've definitely seen like a lot of change. They've been putting a lot of new buildings, and they're low income housing buildings, but they're nicer.
Right.
And they don't look like the projects, or have like the reputation behind it. Because I know like a lot of people have bad thoughts of the project.
Yeah.
Even though it's not that bad, but
right.
It's definitely cleaning up the neighborhood, making it look better. And I have seen like new stores coming like around my neighborhood. I've seen like a Michael's, and Michael's is kind of weird to have. In my neighborhood.
That's how you know it's getting gentrified. Yeah.
That's how you would expect to see a beauty supply store first.
Yeah.
And we've been seeing Bed Bath and Beyond being made.
Oh yeah, it's really getting gentrification over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen the growth and the change. I haven't seen anybody move out yet. I've actually seen a lot of people move in.
Right.
Only because of, like I said, in my neighborhood, there's a lot of low income housing being made.
Right. Sounds good. Hector, you got any questions before you log off?
Of course. Yeah. So we're Lissette, we're usually a music outlet and a music podcasting show. So give us real quick who are your favorite artists that you listen to?
Okay, this is a weird like group because none of them relate to one another. But Drake is definitely up there. Skepta is there.
Okay.
Nice.
I just kind of got into the baby only because of his new song that just came out. So I can see he's trying to revamp his image.
Wait, with Danale?
No,
that song was fire. No, I know you're talking about
the single with B. Simone featuring in the video.
Oh, okay.
It's fire. Yeah, I like that song.
Baby, Drake, Janae Aiko, Ari Lennox, I believe is how you pronounce her name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doja Cat.
Yeah. Doja Cat's like, yeah.
Who else is on there? My God.
Oh, you like her?
It's a lot. I know.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's so many.
Got you. Do you bump these artists every time you kind of like think about like new like design ideas, or you're putting together a catalog or something like that?
Surprisingly, what kind of gets my like creative juices flowing when like I'm doing something like, let's say I'm doing like a mock-up book or like a mood board or like whatever the case may be, or I'm drawing. Yeah. I actually have like this sad playlist. Like I'm not even sad. I can be happy as hell or that. But I have like a sad playlist that kind of gets my creative juices flowing.
No, I feel you.
For some reason. Yeah, I don't know why. These heartbreak songs push me to be creative.
Listen, it'd be like that sometimes. So like what, like The Weeknd or?
The Weeknd, definitely old school music. So like I think B12, one of the old groups.
Ooh, okay, yeah, classic stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Old R&B
things
maybe.
Like that. Yes, exactly that. It's kind of like gets my old Drake.
Old Drake,
Room, all that.
When you say old, what do you mean exactly by old Drake? Do you mean like 2012 Drake, 2015 Drake, 2016 Drake? Like what do you mean when you say old Drake?
When I say old Drake, when he was more like his sad boy music, kind of heartbreak, singing about one girl.
I got you, yeah.
Kind of vibe. So I think that was kind of like around. It's not that long ago. Probably like 2015. That was.
Yeah, before he became a savage.
2016.
Got you.
Yeah, 2016. Yeah, now he's like ruthless. But
yeah.
At time he was around then. It's like my type of time.
Got you. Hey, do you got anything else?
No, they're like very far.
Yeah, wait. I think his sound got cut off. Hector, you there?
Okay, now y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, there you go.
All right. Oh, yes, I have one more question for her.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot has happened since we started 2020. I don't have to tell you about Corona. You've seen you've seen um we've had losses like Kobe Bryant, legends, David Stern, but
Juice
I don't
World.
think anybody was as shocked as when we lost Juice World, but recently Pop Smoke. So can you tell us about how you found out the news?
So on my way to work, and and I was like late that day. I wasn't really on my phone. Like when I'm late to work, I'm rushing. I'm just trying to get to the train every day. My timeline, I've seen a lot of stuff about Pop Smoke. Just scroll through it, wasn't really like reading it,
Hmm.
watching it. And then I arrived to work, and we control our they live at KISS.
Right.
So on the second floor, the boys were controlling it, and all you hear blasting at like I kid you not, 11 a.m. Pop Smoke music, club music, all that.
Hmm.
I'm just thinking like, why is this playing
Out of all
so
days,
early in
right?
the morning? Right, so early in the morning at that bumping on, and it was like a Tuesday or something. It was a weekday. It
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. It was like a one. No, you're right. It was a Tuesday.
Yeah, it was a Tuesday, and I'm just like, this is not happening. So I go on the floor, and I'm just like, why y'all playing? Like, why y'all playing this so loud? He's like, you didn't hear? I'm like, no. They were like, Pop Smoke died. I was like, no, he did not. He's mad
I
young.
know.
He's like, we're
Right.
the same
Yeah.
age. He's like, bro, like, he died.
Mhm.
I'm like, what? Go on my phone, because that's how you find out news now, and I'm
Sure.
looking at the post, and then I see the stuff. They were saying, like, how it was a home invasion,
Yeah.
and I was like, wow, that's crazy. And I was just shocked, only because, I mean, I like Pop Smoke's music. I wasn't like a diehard fan. It was just
Right.
the fact that we were not that far off at the same age, and how
Hmm.
he passed, and he just kind of made his debut into the world.
A lot
It's
of our
kind of a
guests,
shocker.
since then, who've come on the show, they've said the same exact thing you said. Like they're relatively around the same age you are, and they've told me, we had one guest, who actually, he was a manager with two of his artists, and he talked about how he tried to book Pop Smoke, for one of his events, and he tried to book him the same night that he wound up, you know, passing away. So it's crazy how the universe and kind of like things like coexist with one another. But I know. How do you think his lasting legacy will be? I know
I
that you weren't a fan, but yeah, like that. But
definitely feel like he made his mark, and Pop Smoke will forever. When it's summertime and when
Hmm.
everybody's out getting lit in the club, definitely the first thing that's gonna come to mind to a DJ or to someone at a party is like, let's put on Pop Smoke.
right.
And I'm pretty sure that's how he wanted to be remembered. Like,
Hmm.
party, happy, fun vibes,
Yeah,
everyone together, getting lit, all that.
absolutely.
So I definitely feel like when people think about that and they're creating their playlist, whatever the case may be, they're gonna think about, oh, I'm about to play this song by Pop Smoke.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Tying back to the whole fashion thing, were you familiar with what he was doing in Fashion Week in Paris?
No, it's not.
I wasn't either. I was just seeing if you knew for whatever reason. Yeah.
Oh no, no.
Well, the last like I guess music video he showed up in was in Shake the Room with Quavo
Yeah,
and actually Virgil Abloh from Off White. He actually directed the music video.
directed it.
Yeah, and
Right.
actually I thought it came out pretty cool. Like a lot of my friends who have like are like photographers, videographers, and like have a passion for videos and all that. They actually like the whole concept, and I thought it was pretty cool in itself. And it was pretty cool to kind of see him like in his last. It was kind of like bittersweet, but it was bittersweet. It was nice to see him like like enjoying, laughing, like just doing normal stuff. Like for someone who's like successful his age, like in a Ferrari with like with Quavo and all that. Like it was nice to see him at least like happy for like those couple moments, because we know that we'll never be able to see him like in a physical sense, perform or be happy and like kind of like show emotion like that. So the video was cool. I thought it was really. I don't know if you've ever saw the video or not.
Yeah, I've seen snippets of it. I've never watched the whole thing,
Yeah.
but I definitely agree with you. And it's sad how his life was ended. However, I will say that I'm just dang. I don't want to say this to sound cruel,
Yeah.
but in his last like his last few days or last of the case maybe like I'm pretty sure he wasn't suffering. Like when a lot of people die, they're like not dying of a disease or whatever
Hmm.
the case may be. Like
Yeah.
look at this whole
Exactly.
corona thing. People are dying without something. in pain and suffering. And I'm pretty sure leading up to his last few days before his death, he was living his best life. He
Yeah.
was enjoying it to the fullest, And I feel like that's kind of the best way to go out, honestly, instead of suffering.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like within the situation, within the context of like what happened and everything. And listen, like he went out on top. Like no one's ever gonna deny like how great of an artist he was. Even if you didn't like him, you had to kind of like admit, or if you, let's say you weren't a big fan of his, you can't deny that he was, like not it. Like he wasn't like that it factor that a lot of people say. Like when it comes to any profession, like that was him right there. Like he had like superstar potential at such young age. Like he wasn't only doing music, he was also getting into like production, to movies. He was gonna team up Eddie Huang from Vice to do like a whole movie type of thing, and he was getting into fashion. Like he was in Fashion Week and all of that. So it is what it is. But that's the type of legacy, that's the type of memory we have of him, and it's a pretty good one if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely, especially for the fact that his success, like I mean, I could be wrong because, like I said, I don't follow him that much in his storyline, but
Yeah.
to my understanding, it hasn't even been a year, and he just skyrocketed the charts and made a name for himself, and like, he became an icon in a sense in less than a year or maybe a year.
Yeah,
And you
legit.
can't knock anyone's success. It takes some people 10, 20 years before they get like a gold record, platinum record, whatever the case may be. And he did
Exactly.
that like within a year.
Exactly. All right, so before we log off, Hector, you got anything else? You all set? All right, so real quick before we let you go, you have any big events planned out that you want to announce to the world, or anything that you want to tell anybody, to the viewers?
Let me think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Corona, does slow down life.
Yeah,
But
pretty
I
much.
will say there's no official date yet
Okay.
for the Corona, but definitely in the summertime before everyone goes back to school and stuff, acknowledge the 5th. Literally how it sounds, acknowledge the 5th. We will be having our first ever pop-up shop.
Awesome.
And I guess you guys can follow Acknowledge the Fit or No Feelings, which is the CEO of the brand, or me myself, that's Lee, for more details about that coming up. So stay tuned for different revamp pop-up kind of vibe. So that should be coming up soon. My 21st birthday is July. You guys want to send me white Henny?
Ooh, let's go.
No, I can't get that here.
We in there.
That's lit.
Nah, but other than that, I never know. Like I said, my life is not planned, which is kind of cool about that. To be doing something, a new project.
You take it day by day.
Exactly. So follow my page and to see my journey and see what happens. Honestly,
We definitely will.
Definitely. Listen, nothing nowadays is planned for anybody, so no shocker there. Hey, listen, but either way, like, we'll have all those events and like all the tags you just posted. We'll have them like down in the comment section, and we'll tag you and everything for all the viewers that didn't get to catch on to all of those. But anyways, thank you so much for joining us today. Like we had a very interesting
For
talk.
real.
It's cool to kind of like see like the fashion world and like the whole process from like the insider point of view, because I'm not like a big fashionista or ain't like anything like that. But definitely thank you for educating us, and thank you for like taking the time to talk with us.
thank you for having me, guys, and thank you for teaching me about some people I ain't know. So now I'm gonna go do my research
Nah, of
and
course.
see who those people are and listen to their music. But thank you for having me. It was so fun.
Nah, of course.
It was absolutely fun.
All right, so everybody tuning in, we'll have a whole bunch of episodes on YouTube out. Check out the Instagram page at Reup NYC Radio for more details, and for any other events that we got planning up for all these other great entrepreneurs and these other interviews we're gonna have. This is Reup NYC. I'm your host, Mateo Mancia. Signing up for Hector 61 and Lissette Hughes. We'll see you guys later.